سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel. Allahu Akbar! So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and join the Hameen Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.
Hello everyone and welcome to the PWC Wednesday Night Skirmish. I'm your host Jimmy T and my co-hosts, they're back in the saddle once again. We've got the Dollar King, or is it the 2-Pump Chump? I don't know. But it is Kevin Sexytime Panetta. Welcome back to the Skirmish. And what's cracking, my friend?
Hey, I'm just always out to get the most bang for my buck. You know how it is.
I'm sure, no doubt about it. And to my bottom, he is the most evil of evil. He is Evil Diamond Dose, or Damon Dose. Jeff Lippman. Why Damon? Oh, well, how am I supposed to look at it as damn it when it looks like Damon?
I'm gonna have to change that during the break. Yeah, it's all right. Apparently, I can't spell.
You're a character. Well, boys, it was an explosive Dynamite. I mean, we started off with a man, but before we get into the show, I just want to talk. Did you guys check out TK's media call, shall I say?
I did, yeah.
Oh,
You didn't check it out?
Where he's talking about William Regal?
Yes, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard the whole thing from beginning to end. At double speed, of course, but I heard it.
It was a
Well,
classy move by TK, actually.
It actually was, as a matter of fact. The only thing that wasn't so classy, I felt, right, was the fact, and I don't want to use this as an excuse, but I almost feel like he was giving William Regal a guilt trip, if you know what I mean, with what happened with his mother, and like I said, you know, like, I'm glad she's better and stuff, but like, he kept repeating that as he was talking about Regal, which I felt was a bit, you know, I don't know. Is it just me, Kev?
Sometimes having the media on your side could go against you, so you had to just make sure the media knew both people were hurting and just wanted to be with family, so it couldn't be spun a certain way. He did it intentionally, but just to make everyone not look bad.
Yeah. Jeff, how'd you feel about that?
First of all, let me say this. He's lying about certain things. I don't know exactly what he's lying about, but he's lying about certain things. And that is, you know, whether he let him out and that Regal will not be on TV. I'm going to make a bold prediction right now. William Regal might be on TV, if not this Saturday, because I don't think he has anything that's classy. He won't do it. He'll be on by February. Because it was a 1-year contract, and all Tony agreed to do was not pick up his option. Now, he said, I think we have it in writing that he can't be on TV. So if he did, I'm wrong. But if he did, he doesn't think it. He knows it's a liar. Now, whenever Tony is talking too much, you know he's trying to find a narrative. So, yeah, basically what he was saying, this is an old guy. He doesn't really want to be here. I let him out. And because I can empathize with my mother who's sick and a family that's sick and all of this, I'm gonna make an exception in this case, but don't everybody think that you're going to be released too. Like he said a couple times, I can't facilitate every family reunion, which was smart. And by the way, I don't mind the cover. I mean, going on and on about his mom. I mean, I feel for him and everything, but I mean, too much. You know, it was just too much. And like me, he says too much when he doesn't know exactly when to stop.
And Jeff, he just let him out of his. He didn't pick up the option, but he still has 2 months left on his contract. I just think he won't be on TV for 2 months. Then I'll be on WWE TV.
That might be, if it's the balance of his contract. I mean, I'm not sure how long he does have left on his contract, because I feel like Blackpool Combat Club has created and has existed for about 37 months now, because it's like a slow moving tanker that's all rusted. But if that's right, that's fine. Yeah, if they've agreed not to pick up his contract and he doesn't have to do anything else for AEW except for that, you know, that ridiculous recording they did tonight, and you know, it gets that Bart Simpson, you know, gif. You get, at least you tried, with the cake and the garbage. Okay, yeah, fair's fair. If he's got to sit out the contract, he's got to sit out the rest of the contract. That's cool. I have no issue with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But I just find it interesting that he actually just had to say all that stuff. But you know what?
Here's the thing that I thought was that he had to take the opportunity to shit on Triple H's social media, which was before War Games, and he released Regal from the contract after War Games. So his logical connection of, after we've been so accommodating and nice to him, what the hell is he talking about? The chronology, that's not how time worked. Triple H Sunday before War Games. He released him after War Games. It is like one was not a shot at the other. The two things are not related. He just had to get it in, and knows that everybody in the room is to a certain extent or another giving him back massages, wiping his ass and stuff. Well, it's the PWC, so penis.
Penis indeed. I don't know what people are going to start thinking eventually, but anyway, let's move on. Yeah, well, look, in my opinion, it was actually his best coming when it comes to the media calls, because usually he doesn't open up like that, and for once he actually...
PWC, people with cocks.
Well, we're people with cocks. There you go.
Yeah. Or chodes. People with chodes.
Sure.
Anyway, Demetrius Ponticus in the chat says, I read the other reason was he wants to work with his son. That's why he wanted to go back to WWE, while TK still try and delay Regal's return. First of all, he's just using that as an excuse to work with his son. Come on.
I think so.
No, he does, of course. I think he really does. But he always wanted to go back to WWE. The second Triple H was back at the helm, the writing was on the wall straight away.
Oh, yeah.
His son was there when he got released. I mean, William Regal got released. He never wanted to leave.
No.
But as far as delaying his return, no, whatever their deal is, it's done. So if he is just a backstage coach and a talent evaluator, and if that's what he's going to be at least for a year, then so be it. That was the deal that they made. And some people may think it's harsh, but if he had an option to extend and he didn't, then okay, I'm okay with that too. That's fine. That's business, and contracts are contracts. So you can't expect a lawyer on the panel to not expect people to respect the sanctity of contracts. So no, I don't expect them to delay it. I think they made whatever arrangement they made, and the only issue is if he only thinks he has it in writing but doesn't really have it in writing, then Regal's free to do whatever he wants, and it's a gentleman's agreement. Well, Regal's already told you what kind of a gentleman he is. He's the worst person on earth.
Yeah, and if he tried to delay this now after making that statement publicly, Jerry McDevitt would be all over that when Regal would be able to do what the hell he wants anyway.
For sure, no doubt about it. But let's get into the Dynamite proper. We come from Austin, Texas, as a matter of fact, and to a pretty rowdy crowd. I actually liked the fans for this show, and it seemed pretty packed, I think, Jeff, right? I mean, Didn't seem that empty.
Listen, I don't know if it was packed. I don't know if it was just one side of the building. I don't know if the upper bowl was blocked off or not. But as compared to recent Dynamite, it wasn't obvious that it was only one half of the building that was covered. And it wasn't obvious that one half of the building wasn't full. So I will give it credit there. Perhaps they had a bigger audience. It's Austin. It's a big town. I don't know if it was Austin proper or outside of Austin, but the Austin-Fort Worth area is Austin is what, the capital? Yeah. So, Austin's the capital. It's a big city. Texas is a good wrestling state. It's been a good market. It's been a great market. It's been a great market for wrestling companies. I mean, forever.
Forever.
WWE. It's been good to AEW. I mean, except for, Corpses Christi, where they're like zombies without voice boxes. It's been mostly good. So, yeah, good on the crowd. The crowd was pretty hot tonight.
Absolutely was. And we start off with the Dynamite Diamond Ring Battle Royale. And we start off with Absolute Ricky Starks, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, and the Natural Dustin Rhodes all get individual entrances. Now, I don't really want to go through all this because I thought this sucked balls. But Ricky Starks ends up winning, last eliminating All Ego Ethan Page to win the right to challenge Maxwell Jacob Freeman for the Dynamite Diamond Ring at any time of his choosing. But after the matchup, we enter MJF. He gets on the mic and says a little birdie told him Bryan Danielson didn't show up tonight, and he knows it's because he's terrified of him after what he did.
I don't want to skip the entire battle royal to go into the next
all
one.
right.
That was a 15 or 20 minute portion of the show.
Fine, go. Tell me what you thought about the battle royal. I just thought it sucked.
I thought it sucked. It was a terrible battle royal, but that's not enough. We need to express why we thought it sucked. I mean, first of all, it made no sense as to who the constituents and the participants were. You had 42 people around the ring, but half of them weren't in the battle royal. It wasn't clear who was in, who wasn't. It wasn't clear that. I mean, why do you have W. Morrissey on the outside? Why is the Blade outside and the Butcher's in the match, but the Butcher's outside half the time? Apparently, they've adopted the rule that if somebody not in the match hits the guy when they're on the apron and they fall to the floor, that they're out of the battle royal also. Because the Blade eliminated Orange Cassidy, which I have no issue with Orange Cassidy, and I've seen that before. I don't remember if it's just this company or other companies, but that shouldn't happen. Only a participant should be able to eliminate you, except for like something like holding the rope or something shitty like that. You got two managers out there, Stokely Hathaway and Prince Nana, who did absolutely jack and shit. Penelope Ford, who played no role whatsoever. You got Kip Sabian in there for whatever reason. You have Captain Sean Dean at the Final Four. I don't know. You have Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and Matt Hardy. This seems to be the story they want to focus on, how they're bickering, but they're mostly working together. But they're working together ineptly. But still, two of them managed to make it to the Final Four, and they're still inept. I don't know. There's just like a lot of kerfuffle stuff. So I don't want to just like go over an eighth or a seventh of the show and just say it sucked without saying why I thought it sucked. I love battle royals. I can only remember 3 battle royals I haven't liked. One was the Women's Royal Rumble a couple years back where they had like Summer Rae in it, like it was all the older women. One might have been the men's battle royal that same year where there was like no surprises, where like you pretty much knew everyone, like nobody that entered in it was a shock. We might have had like one surprise and it was a bad surprise. And this,
what was the surprise?
I don't remember. All I remember is I'm not sure if it was the year that was Carlito was in it, but there were only like 3 people that weren't pre-announced for it. It might have been the year after. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, I like the 2 casino battle royals at the original Double or Nothing. Even the women's one where they were complete incompetence. The men's one with like Ace Romero basically eliminated himself, and Jimmy Havoc and stapling cigarettes to Joey Janela's head. I mean, it was stupid wrestle crap, but I liked it. This was terrible. This wasn't even entertaining, and this dug a deep hole for me. And I really wanted to hate the rest of the Dynamite show, but yet I didn't.
That makes 3 of us, I think. Kev, what'd you think?
Like you guys, I love battle royals in general too. This wasn't the best battle royal. It was probably on the lower tier of battle royals, and it was very, very predictable. one of the best thing about Battle Royals is that anybody can win unless it's like an obvious one. This was an obvious one where Ricky Starks was going to win. Luckily, the rest of the roster was so bad, it didn't bury anybody else where I wasn't mad about Ricky Starks winning. Then they pretty much, this is very formulaic. Somebody throws a guy out, that guy gets eliminated next by somebody else. It annoyed me too when Dalton Castle's getting carried by the Boyds and the Blades is out there like, hey, why don't I just eliminate him too? Like, why would he not want to? Why does William Morrissey not want to be in the matches? He just doesn't care. If anybody can be in there, you don't need any wins on your
Big guys don't care, Jeff. They don't care about championships.
So there was way more to be annoyed at than not, but I didn't mind this just because it was short enough where it was okay and it didn't bury anybody. The only guy that had the storyline won. So I was okay with it. And then it was short enough where it didn't piss me off.
Yeah, well, for me, look, it's cool that Starks won. And for people that don't realize, I guess he resides in Austin, Texas, not in New Orleans, where he's actually from. But whatever, the crowd was behind him. It was like he was home, that's for sure. And then we get MJF coming out, though, which makes things really interesting. He gets on the mic and says a little birdie told him Bryan Danielson didn't show up tonight. And he knows it's because he's terrified of him after what he did to his boy William Regal. He's a bad, bad man, and that's why in a week's time, he's going to be a 4-time Dynamite Diamond Ring champion, and he's still going to be world champion. He turns to Starks and says that people treat him like some unheralded god of pro wrestling, but the truth is, compared to MJF, he's the drizzling shit. Or should he say he's a Rudy Poo candy ass? That popped me, guys, just quietly.
That was good.
Yeah, that was awesome. Since Starks has stolen everything else from that guy, he tells Ricky he's nothing more than a dollar store Dwayne, so he's going to start calling him the Pebble. So next week at Dynamite, Max is going to put him in his pocket, hop in his brand new Porsche, and drive him all the way back to Billy Corgan's NWA so Ricky can wrestle on YouTube where he belongs. So he doesn't care that he's absolute because he's a generational talent and his reign of terror has just begun as Starks cold shoulders his way through Friedman on his way to getting on the mic. He calls him Maxi Pad and says he should have expected a fifth-rate Roddy Piper wannabe to come out here and try to steal the spotlight. I love the Maxi Pad part. I couldn't stand that he called him Roddy Piper only because it felt like, I know you are, but what am I type of shit, right? But anyway, he continues on to say, oh, you trash the city and you trash the people. How much more shtick you got because the low-hanging fruit is running dry. Every week MJF comes out, he's smelling like paint thinner and ass. He's eczema. His eczema's like he's laid down on an anthill for a week. His clothes don't fit and he thinks he's better than Starks. Everything about Max screams cheap from his suits to his heat. And he's our AEW World Champion. That title comes with responsibility that MJF knows nothing about. Just quietly, neither does fucking Starks. So I don't know why he said that.
Yeah, MJF was 2 weeks worth anyway.
Right, I'm just pointing out like some inconsistencies here. But anyway, and the difference between them is that he gives the people a reason to keep cheering. But Max lets everybody down every time. He can run off because he got out politicked by somebody smarter than him. But Ricky's here every week. Freeman avoids pressure. Starks takes it in. He does the meet and greets, and besides his nose being a lot darker than the rest of his body, Ricky lives with dignity and respect. When he was living in his car in South Austin, he was grinding, and Max thinks that's just because he pays people and kisses ass. He can get whatever he wants. Next week is a big deal, and next week he's going to stomp the mole off his neck, stomp his asshole in, and he's going to take that title and do him a favor that he's never had done in his life. He's going to take the responsibility off his plate, little boy. And he also called him a bitch for running away to Greece for 3 months. He also said Max, as reasonable as ever, kicks him right in the gentleman's era at the end. I'm talking about MJF. Looking for a lariat, Ricky ducks and turns his ass. Tea kettle with a spear, and Starks holds the title up. And that was the end. That was awesome. But before I pass it on to you, Kev, I thought he went far too long, but he recovered.
I think I don't think it was too long. A couple of his lines didn't hit, but he had way more that hit that landed that didn't. This is the best Starks look the whole time he's been in this company. Like, who cares if Max doesn't go to like the meet and greets? He's a heel. He's not supposed to. And Ricky Starks has only been a face for like 3 to 5 months. You know, he hasn't been doing it that long either. You know, and usually that's just the main champion and the other companies that do that. So who cares? But I loved all of his lines. MJF had some great lines too. The Dollar Store Rock, not Sonny Siaki from Impact.
Yeah.
That was great too. And I did not care the least bit about this feud until this segment tonight. Now I know it's still predictable. You know, MJF is going to win, but at least if it's going to be this entertaining, I'm up for a little like 3-month feud out of these guys. You know, they won me over here.
Jeff.
I do think that they both went a little bit too long. If you've seen MJF a bunch of times before, you know, you sort of heard this before. It is getting old. Other people have said this, and by people I mean characters on TV, not just Ricky Starks. I mean, even Wheeler Yuta pointed it out. I mean, yeah, he does sort of do the same thing. That said, I like most of the comments. I like the Dollar Store Dwayne. I did not like the Pebble because that's been all over the place. So it's like he could, you know, MJF shouldn't have to steal shit from memes that are going around, you know, on wrestling Twitter, basically. One thing, MJF missed an opportunity when Stark said, when I was living in my car under the bridge in Houston, I was grinding, and MJF should have been like, I don't want to know what you were doing for money in your car when you were homeless.
Sure.
I mean, that would have been great. The stuff about you smell cheap, you can say a lot of things about MJF, but his clothes are good. I mean, there's nothing cheap about Burberry. He was wearing like $1,400 slippers. Come on now. Which is weird coming from Starks, who wore Gucci slip-ons, you know, most of the time he's on TV. So he knows the difference. Anyway, so that's a little frou-frou, but I'm a little frou-frou. But overall, every now and then I hear what everyone else hears in Starks, and this was one of those times. He was great. Unfortunately, I still see him, and he needs to gain 35 pounds. In fact, when he was thickening enough for a while when he was working with Hobbs, and I don't know if he really is hurt his shoulder and he couldn't lift or whatever, but he's gotten slimmed right back down to NWA size. But somehow his weight, he has like a 16-inch waist. Yeah, I'm a little jealous, but I mean, he's got like a 26-inch waist. I mean, the dude needs to get bigger. He's not credible to me. Luckily enough, MJF is a fairly small dude himself. But yeah, no, this segment overall was great. Everything I'm saying is just nitpicky, but that's what we do here, and that's what I do. But overall, this was great. MJF was good. Ricky Starks, probably the best I've heard of ever.
Absolutely, Evan. It felt like it came from the heart, man. That's what made that very special, you know what I mean?
Still Grinder in the car. Come on, man. It was right there.
Yeah, I know, you're right. But the real sunshine is MJF. But you are right. He does overdo the same old fucking promo, cookie cutter promo. When I say cookie cutter, I love that, by the way, in the background.
he's got to save his good stuff for better people than Wheeler Yuta and Ricky Starks, though, you know?
I know, but the thing is, man, I want to see MJF do a promo without having to be... How do I put it? It's easy to get that sort of heat, man. You know what I mean? I can go out and get that heat by doing the exact same thing.
What can you use against Starks? So they haven't really given him much of a character yet, you know? He doesn't have much to work with.
Well, look at him. He's a skeleton, first of all. He's a wannabe Rock. His forehead, yeah. Definitely his forehead. You could fucking land a plane on his fucking forehead. You know what I mean? I mean, if you...
His pose is Diana Ross's.
Yeah, Diana Ross. What the fuck is this shit?
It's like from the Alvin Ailey Dance Company.
I think it's Michael Jackson holding the hat. That's that pose.
Too many Michael Jacksons, man, already. Yeah. We don't need that shit.
I mean, I have heard from young people that Michael Jackson is now problematic.
I don't know, man. Just look, I like Starks. This is the best I've seen of Starks, but I just feel like I need to see more, man. I want to see him get this sort of reaction away from Austin or away from New Orleans, and see how he fares. because MJF is the man right now, man. And why build up Starks just for him to lose? I mean,
What they do is going to be off TV for 6 weeks right after he loses.
He is.
Yes.
Why?
I mean, if he was smart, he wouldn't challenge for the diamond ring on that one. And but he will. He's going to do both because he said it before. I'm going to take everything from you the same night. And yeah, I mean, we've already heard it. I mean, MJF started this promo by talking about Bryan Danielson still with Regal. That's the next program, and Bryan's going to put him over and make him look like $1 million.
Yeah, well, for sure, I can see MJF having a year-long run, like I said a couple of weeks ago. I reckon he should. Yeah, absolutely.
He should. Everyone should. I mean, they can't hot potato things yet, because if they hot potato a title like this, first of all, they'll get the criticism they got with the TNT title with Cody and Sammy and all of that shit that was going on. That wasn't good. But also, it'll be given into the internet. Every week, somebody wants somebody else to be a champion. I mean, they'll be pressured. Ricky Starks. Well, now Eddie Kingston deserves a shot. Samoa Joe deserves one more run. Hey, they should really, bring Kyle O'Reilly when he's ready. He should get a chance with the title. He's never held a major title. It's just going to be like that. So, yeah, no, I think that MJF should have it, and he should lie, steal, and cheat to do it. He should have an evil time. Oh, for God's sake! We need anyone else in AEW.
And WWE for Nick Aldis. But I agree. MJF should have a year-long title reign, but I don't think it needs to be a one reign. I think it's okay if he loses it twice and wins it back the following Dynamite. If he's like the Ric Flair, even if he's a 3-time champion in a year, as long as he has the belt majority of that year, like 10 months of the year. I think if he's like that Ric Flair, just always wants the belt, do whatever it takes to win, cheat, I lie, cheat, I steal, I'm the biggest scumbag ever, and that's okay too.
Yeah, I'd rather him be the biggest scumbag, like just the biggest piece of shit there is in pro wrestling.
I'd rather have an 11-month title and it be consecutive.
But me too. I agree with Jeff. I'd rather it be consecutive. 11 months, 1 year. Fuck it. A year and a half. How long has Roman Reigns been champion for? At least one of the belts?
700 some days.
Yeah, it's more. I think it's 2 years with at least one of the belts.
Yep.
Oh, well, there you go. Does it feel that bad though?
No, it feels great.
That's what I'm saying. So why not with MJF too? You know what I mean? I
mean,
think there should be some stability in AEW.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ah, so we all agree. Well, we get a Darby Allin promo about how he's felt lost since he lost the TNT Championship, and Samoa Joe will have to bury him to keep him away from it. Joe responds and calls him a curious little dead boy. I thought he said dick boy, personally, but
every
didn't
question
it sound like
penis.
No, really, but didn't it
sounded like dead
sound
boy?
Like, oh, to me, it sounded like
to you it
boy.
did. Of course it did.
Oh, it must be dick on my mind. Anyway,
duh.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm cracking up so bad I miss most of the rest of his promo. But hey, curiosity has a cost. And then we come back from commercials. John Moxley then cuts a promo. He says last week didn't get out of hand and is really starting to like Adam Page talking with his fists. There's not enough of that around here. And this is all elite wrestling, not all elite talking. Well, I beg to differ sometimes, John.
I just buried the best segments on the show so far. I mean, I know it's pre-recorded probably, but
doesn't matter. Stupid.
Yeah.
This is the sport of kings, and tonight he and Wheeler and Claudio, this weekend they bring back 100 proof ass kicking pro wrestling, and he's over the Jericho Appreciation Society, and he's going to be out there tonight to ensure there's no sports entertainment shenanigans. And if Hangman wants another piece, he knows where to find him. Jeff, what do you think of that?
So they're finally a group. I don't think that this promo was necessary. I think that they could have used the time more wisely. It wasn't bad. I mean, fine. Hangman Page, you came up with your fist. You're not talking. Finally, you're a man. Okay, that's fine. Listen,
man.
Listen. The BCC is on the clock. Unlike Cross, when we turn the hourglass over and say tick tock, something really is going to happen at the end. This group is going to implode. Regal thing was the excuse, and he gave them all permission to do diabolical. They're barely on the same page at all. They were never really on the same page. And Moxley being supportive of the group is more suspicious than anything else. But I thought the Darby promo, although very similar to last week's vignette, was very good, and I thought Joe's answer was great. And before you get a chance to say it, I'm going to say that I thought that the Darby-Joe match was absolutely perfect.
I loved it. But, Kev, what did you think of that little segment?
The segment was fine too. You just got to keep John Moxley on TV every week. That's what they need to do with more people on the roster. Little quick segments too, like more character work. Moxley's telling you he's the biggest, baddest guy in the small pond. You know, it's his gimmick. And they need to do this to more people instead of them to be forgotten for 6 weeks instead of just him. And Darby Allin's great too. They let him control his own stuff. He knows his character. Awesome work by both guys.
I just feel like they've sort of cooled off Darby Allin in many ways, man. To the point where the fans aren't even reacting to him like they should be. Like, for example, we do have Darby Allin versus Samoa Joe for the AEW TNT Championship. Joe is your champion. And when Darby Allin first came out, yeah, he got a few like cheers and whatnot, but it just didn't feel like Ricky Starks or MJF type of heat, you know what I mean? And then Joe came out, and the whole place lit up. Everyone was Joe.
Well, they had a hot mid-card young division, too, when the TNT title was Sammy and Darby going against each other. They just don't know how to book, man. They cooled down everybody. They definitely cooled Sammy down unintentionally. Yeah, I mean, sure. Darby down, too, unintentionally.
Well, Darby became the second to Sting. It was a mistake from the beginning. I always thought that. I mean, I understand why they wanted to do it, but I was saying it was a mistake then, and and maybe the proof's now. I thought he got a good enough reaction. But I have to say, this was. They might have cooled him off, but it worked here because I never believed him before. Like, I used to joke about him being the Terminator because, like, you know, Miro would be beaten on for 25 minutes and he'd keep getting up, and it's just ridiculous. He's a 140-pound guy. So this was great because his recklessness is what gives him a chance. It's what his disregard for his body and his well-being is what gives him a chance. But it also is what's going to cost him because of his diminutive stature, especially when you meet a veteran and a guy that's basically a boulder. It's in there, you know. It's basically the thing from the Fantastic Four. I thought this. I think Darby. I think this was actually one of those rare good losses. I think people are going to want to see Darby again as the face from underneath. That they're going to want to see scrap to it and win more so than Orange Cassidy is like a shtick. He's a meme now. Jungle Boy, there's been missing in that guy. But Darby, smallest of the three of them, but he's the real deal. You know, not my cup of tea exactly, but I feel like I can stop qualifying it because he's earned it. I mean, I like watching Darby work, and especially matches like this where they make sense.
No, I agree, absolutely. And also, Homeboy says in the chat, twins go round the round. Absolutely, Homeboy, you knew it. It's the Real Man's Man remix. Thanks to me, DJ Mass Effects. If you want to check out some of my remixes, you can at SoundCloud and other places. But anyway, yeah, no, absolutely. I love this match personally, man, and I just want to say, damn, like, I mean, Darby Allin got his fucking backside kicked, boys. I mean, it looked like it hurt, especially the way Joe does his signature walkaway.
Yeah, it's great. That
was brilliant. The way he fucking launched into the barricade. I'm talking about Darby Allin, and Joe just doing the walkaway. It was fucking mad. Jeff?
I love when Joe does it. I wish other people did it, but now it's sort of his thing. So I'm actually glad that it's not overdone. But I you know, every now and then someone should just move. I mean, it's no. What's to say? What can I say other than I thought this match was perfect? I mean, I sincerely mean it. I thought this match was perfect.
No, I loved it, man. Kev?
Joe just oozed charisma this whole match too. Like,
he did.
He seemed younger and rejuvenated, like on another level.
He even screamed to the fans saying, "I'm back."
Yeah, it felt like the younger Joe. Like the last 2 years of Joe was like out of shape, injured. I don't want to say out of shape, but injured Joe, huffing and puffing, coming back too soon. And it definitely felt like a rejuvenated Joe, like a TNA era Joe, dare I say. It was awesome. Great.
Yeah.
Darby's the crash system. It's like he's the best at what he does.
I agree, man. It did feel like a TNA Joe in many ways, man. I mean, we should have had a throwback to his TNA theme. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Even though I do love his AEW theme also. At first I didn't like it, but then it grew on me, and I actually think it's better than WWE's, version of Joe's music.
They all sound the same.
They do. No, they're all based the same, obviously. Like, you have to. You can't go any
They're
different.
all good. That's how
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It just suits him.
AEW doesn't like blast the themes loud enough. You don't they don't just come off as well on TV. No, I don't think so. Like they don't like pop as much. In WWE, they like focal it. Like you notice it even when it's shitty.
Jeff, do you agree?
I know what he's saying. I mean, WWE, the production overall is better. The sound, is just better. But I mean, some of the AEW themes, like I can't, like that I hate, and I wish they were turned down. Like all of the Japanese girls' songs, they all sound like they're like annoying 1981 pinball machine song, arcade from 1984. They kill me. Like Sheeta's and Riho's terrible. I hate this Claudio shit as soon as the
Hayter, bro,
part of it starts. Like the first part of it.
That's so gay.
But some of them are. I don't know. I mean, AEW's. I mean, a lot of WWE sound the same. Like the beginning of Judgment Day sounds like the beginning of Bailey, until the I don't know.
I do like Ripley's remix though, Jeff.
Yeah, Ripley's is great. I mean, Ripley is great music. Listen, great music can help a great act, but great music can't do anything for a dead act. Because if music was great, Judgment Day would be great, and Karrion Kross would be the undisputed champion of the world.
I agree, Kev.
Well, I just think like maybe it's Excalibur talks over it too much. Maybe that's more the problem, like for certain songs.
Well, that's why it's at Shut Up Excalibur.
I could barely hear Dustin Rhodes' song when he was coming out too. I'm like, trying, do I like this? I know I heard it before. I couldn't hear it. Maybe
I never.
Him not shutting up.
What the hell is Dustin Rhodes on TV in 2022?
For that was worth it. For that Battle Royal, that was one of the high points. So they needed him for that with the rest of that cast.
I mean, with the rest of that cast, what's the difference? But it was, I mean.
They got to stop with the Battle Royals, man. Or fucking have a fucking pay-per-view that's a Battle Royal base show.
I mean, if you're putting him in there, at least have him in there to like the final 8 or 6 or something. Make it interesting. He was like the 4th one eliminated.
Yeah, typical.
Or at least have your 8 top guys in there. Have
like the Butcher needed the rub. Come on.
Matt Hardy.
At least Matt Hardy's in some story. It's a terrible story. It's a stupid story. It's the 3rd time with this same story with Matt Hardy, just with 3 different bosses. But anyway, but I don't know. I mean, if you're going to put Dustin in there, and I assume it's because he's from the Austin area, or at least I know he's from Texas. He's
born in Austin, as a matter of fact. So
then at least feature him. I mean, well, Cage didn't need to be in the. Anyway, I already talked about the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Samoa Jones at winning by referee stoppage with the coquina clutch to retain the AEW TNT Championship. Post-match, a frustrated Allen shoves Joe and Samoa headbutts him in return. Joe grabs Darby's skateboard and threatens referee Bryce Remsburg with it before settling it down, trucks up and putting Allen on his shoulders and a muscle buster into the skateboard. Joe puts him back into the coquina clutch and the referee swarmed to pull him off. He doesn't let go until Wardlow comes out to make the save, whereupon Joe grabs his total belts and scatters away. So, I mean, Wardlow is just ice cold right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, but you knew it was going to happen. One thing I forgot. Okay, yes. You saw how Joe, when he was out of the ring, he kept sliding back under the ring to break the count. I don't think the first couple of times the referee was even bothering to count. And then when Joe did it twice, he started counting 1, 2. So Joe was teaching the referee how to ref and how to make the match better. I'm not sure I'm right, but I didn't notice him counting until Joe did it a second time.
Do you blame him? I mean, he looks like the type that would get frustrated by shit like that.
Right, and good. Listen, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, great on Joe. Just another reason why he's one of the best and has had such a storied career, and everyone respects him.
Well, unlike most guys that have jumped from WWE, he seems legitly sort of happy that he's in AEW right now, if that makes sense.
Now, I don't know that I could have said that until very recently.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're probably right. It feels like up until recently, but I think he's happy now. He's in a happy place, and I think he's content too.
Okay, well, content is sort of a lesser form of happy, so happy I think subsumes content.
Content in a good way, like he's rejuvenated. That's just in my opinion. I don't know, Kev. Do you feel Joe seems a lot happier now that he's made the jump from WWE to AEW?
As of now, I mean, he's been booked okay the last month. Give it another couple months.
Very strong.
Yeah, he's been booked strong and he's healthy. He's gotten a chance again. He got fired twice in like 6 months in WWE, so it's got to piss you off a little bit. The second time, his buddy Triple H put in a word for him and brought him back, and he still got fired again. So it's got to be annoying, and he's on his last legs, like wrestling wise. So he's got to like at least he's not going to mess up this opportunity. Let's just put it that way.
I agree 100%. Anyway, we go to a backstage segment where we get Orange Cassidy is interviewed and offers Kip Sabian an All-Atlantic Championship match. Kip begs off because he got hurt in the Battle Royale, and Orange tells him to go find somebody who can fight him on Friday at Rampage. So we get fucking Orange Cassidy being Mr. Friday Night again, boys.
Right, and somehow Tony Schiavone knew instantly that meant that Orange Cassidy was in fact confirmed to defend his title on Rampage for a person of Kip Sabian's choosing. That's what he knew.
Dumb.
Which is so dumb. But do you think that they have reunited and this will be the grand re-debut of Miro?
Miro with a brown paper bag on his head.
Yeah. I hope so, and I hope he is the wedding guy again, whatever, the best man. I mean, but yeah, okay, even if they bring back Miro, but then what? Are they gonna put him as champion? And if they do,
yes.
I think he needs to aim fucking higher than this.
Bulgaria is right there on the Atlantic, as you know, the All Atlantic. Aim higher. He's not in that picture. You know he's not in that picture. What do you mean aim higher? You go where you're booked. You don't get the team. This isn't a real sport.
If is Rampage still taped this week? It's not live, right?
Good question, man. I'm not sure, but usually before a pay-per-view, it is live.
Okay.
But this is a Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I think it's taped.
Yeah.
It does look stacked though.
Maybe Miro. On a tape show on CB Miro.
Okay, well then we would be able to find out from spoilers now. I mean, right? They should be all over the place.
Yeah, should be happening right now.
Yeah, so we'll see.
What if it's Jimmy Havoc? Is he back from his sexual assault, whatever it was?
No,
please,
I don't think anyone will ever see Jimmy Havoc again. I don't know who else it could be. I mean, we know that
guy away.
We know that Pac was being targeted by Kip Sabian, but he already has a title. But that doesn't stop AEW. But they were sort of rivals. But maybe it's the rival with respect. And you know, Pac's been flirting with being a heel. So I don't know who else besides Miro makes any sense. Not that it has to make sense. I understand this is AEW, so they could just dust off Lance Archer, or he hired QT Marshall in the factory, and it's big shoddy Lee Johnson and Orange Cassidy, or someone from Japan that'll have to bring in, Chaos versus, whoever Evil's group is or whatever. I don't know.
Los Ingobernables. Oh no, it's Bullet Club now, actually, with Evil.
Well, I mean, you have a local Ingobernable, sort of, but they're in something with the. I'm going to go with Miro. I mean, why keep him on payroll if you're just going to have him sit there and do nothing?
Well, at least Andrade is being Los Ingobernables.
Andrade hasn't been on TV for 3 months.
I know, because he's ungovernable. Get it?
Well, he's being governed.
True.
Is Kyle O'Reilly hurt too? You don't hear anything about him.
He's hurt, yes.
Yeah.
He's hurt. So I don't think, unless could it be Adam Cole, baby?
Why would Kip Sabian bring in Adam Cole, baby, and Adam Cole in Tony Khan land is not All Atlantic? He put him into a higher program.
You make me want to find out now. I want to look just because I want to right now. No, you know what, guys? I think it's live. as a matter of fact, because there's no spoilers.
It's a weird time of year to be live.
Well, like I said, they always have said that they're live before each and every pay-per-view.
AEW pay-per-view. Anyway, I mean, it's weird. I mean,
Well,
listen,
but
I know that you
Ring of Honor-
plan the shows and then the logistics, weeks or months in advance if you can. But this was a week where 4 out of the 5 wrestling shows, and I'm exempting SmackDown because it was like on FS1 in some markets, FS2 in some markets, not on at all in some markets. But if you want to go 5 for 5, all of the wrestling shows did terrible audience-wise. They all dropped down a lot. Dynamite, Rampage, SmackDown, Raw, NXT. So it would be a weird time to push your luck, and people are spending money on Christmas gifts. I mean, going to a wrestling show in the middle of December.
Why not? Could be a good Christmas gift.
It could be. But kids are still in school, so I listen. It could be. Anyway, I don't know. I don't know.
Kev, anything else you want to touch on before we move on?
Miro makes the most sense, but I don't think it's going to be Miro. It's going to be some guy from some independent promotion that if we Google and find out who he is, then there's some backstory we don't know about.
Oh, God. Let's hope not.
Whoever
Whatever it
fired
is, we'll find out this Friday on
Whoever he
Rampage.
tagged with 6.5 years ago in Rev Pro.
It's CZW when he was firing, whoever his enemy was or one of his ant buddies were.
Could be. Anyway, we come back from commercial. As we get a hype wheel, for Chris Jericho's match against Claudio Castagnoli at Final Battle. But speaking of Claudio, we do have a Blackpool Combat Club matchup with Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta versus Jericho Appreciation Society in Red Death, Daniel Garcia, and the guy that loves his hat, Jack Hager. Not bad, up and down type of matchup, but Blackpool Combat Club ended up winning by pinfall with a Swiss death from Claudio Castagnoli on Jake Hager. Kev, what do you think of the matchup?
I don't care about Wheeler Yuta. I don't want to resent watching wrestling anymore. I turned the channel off and started watching some Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I won't lie, so did I. I literally changed the channel.
Yeah, I did not watch Wheeler Yuta. I'm not going to watch shit I don't want to watch anymore just because and resent wrestling. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to watch that.
Jeff?
I did watch it. Wheeler Yuta's elbow and forearm were ripped to shreds. It's like a cheese grater took off all the skin on the back. This match was not particularly good. It was not particularly bad. The faces won, so which of course means that the heels will retain at the pay-per-view usually. Sammy Guevara was out there not doing much of anything. John Moxley was out there. I guess that was the important thing, is that they were still a unit. And I don't know if we're supposed to think that John Moxley might turn as well, because or that someone's going to turn on someone, and it might have been here. John Moxley, always sort of looks like a rabid dog, but yeah, this was filler. I don't really know why it had to be here. I guess it's to. I mean, at least they said in the promo, but we didn't need another promo from John Moxley, and that's what we got. I guess it's better than Wheeler Yuta or Claudio speaking. But he said, whatever this is, this war with JAS ends at Final Battle. Thank God. It's approaching a year. It may be more than a year. It may be a year since it started. I'm not even sure. But I know that there was Anarchy in the Arena, Blood and Guts, and some other crazy blow-off match, and you didn't start with those. With AEW, you might have gone there after 2 weeks. So anyway, it was fine. Faces won. The end. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't particularly bad. It wasn't particularly good. I mean, I know why Jericho's not there, because he's doing Fozzy concerts, but why isn't Maynard and Parker out there if it's so important? I mean, he's
in my neck of the woods, actually, Jeff. He's down here in Australia doing Fozzy concerts.
Our 2.0 on his Fozzy tour, do they play the tambourine or something?
Maybe.
Cowbell.
Entertainers.
More cowbell.
Entertainers.
I could see one of those guys doing the tambourine, the other one doing cowbell.
One of them with a triangle even. Ting, ting.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
I don't know
why that.
Absolutely.
I don't know why that pops all of us, but yeah, it is what it is.
Because it fits.
It just does, yeah. No, for real. No, you're right. Post-match, we get Tony Schiavone getting in the ring to show us an interview he did with William Regal some weeks back that he thinks might shed some light on recent events. Regal says people will only see this if something bad happens to him, and he says he took great exception to what MJF did to Tony, and he's mad about emails. And so he gave him what he wanted. He's world champion. But be careful what you wish for, because everybody in this company will be chasing him. He realized months ago that he was surplus to requirements to the Blackpool Combat Club, but he knew that wouldn't let him go. So he wanted to show them that he could go and he could teach Wheeler and make him the best wrestler he can be. And I'll see what he does and take the example. He says this is his final lesson. Always stay one step ahead and always keep eyes in the back of your head. He's Blackpool Combat Club until the day he dies, and it's been emotional. This is stupid, guys, personally, big time, because I didn't get no inkling, first of all, that he was surplus to requirements, Kev.
Yeah, this is like when in a sitcom when a family member dies and then they show them, they made a video. If you've already seen this video, if you're watching this video, that means I'm already dead. Insults your intelligence, it's one of those things. And he's Blackpool Combat Club until he's on NXT in 2 months, for life. It was pretty cheesy. It didn't need to be done. Takes away from MJF knocking William Regal out too. There's going to be idiots out there going to think this isn't pre-recorded. They're not going to pay attention to that too. This is unnecessary. Just unnecessary is the perfect word.
I agree. Jeff?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's sort of like that Bart Simpson gift where at least you tried with the cake and you put it in the trash. Except this didn't help anything. It actually hurt. I mean, it didn't make logical sense. I mean, if we were supposed to figure out that the BCC, shouldn't trust each other, well, you just made it blatantly obvious, which is, not really a sin in wrestling, but you try to be just over subtle, but not beat someone in the head. Like obviously, so something bad's going on. But if this was recorded 2 weeks ago, we saw what he was wearing. He was wearing a suit. His hair looked different. I mean, obviously he did this. This was the last thing he did for them within the last couple of days, if not today, to do it. So I want to say at least you tried to type a story, but you didn't. They would have been better off if they just said nothing. If they just stuff that Regal was the devil and he was diabolical, and he's tired playing by the rules. And by the way, he was always surplusage. These guys never needed him. The Blackpool Combat Club was always goofy, and they only brought in Cesaro because Brian had a concussion and couldn't wrestle for 3 months, and then he just sort of stuck around. So when Regal was talking about the 3 prime members of the Blackpool Combat Club, I didn't know who he was talking about. Like, are you dissing on Claudio? It took the rest of his promo for me to realize he's dissing on Paul Young Wheeler, who they're going to. Well, Wheeler's been in that group for a year now, so I mean, what's going? Anyway, they can't teach him charisma, and apparently they can't teach him how to train to get bigger. Well, maybe Daniel taught him how to be a vegan. I don't. This wasn't good. It didn't help anything. It didn't fix the story. They should have just. They would have been better off if they just moved on. Daniel Bryan's at his Bryan Danielson's at his deathbed, and if they want to say till the day I die, and next week they announce he died, that's fine too. So he's dead. Kill him off like an Impact. Kill someone off.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Fuck. Yeah,
the Blackpool.
It should have been in his contract that he has to go by Lord Steven Regal when he goes back to WWE.
The Blackpool Combat Club had so much potential to be something good and big. If Daniel Bryan and Jon Moxley went for the tag belts together, they would have had a purpose. It'd be like if Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns right now became the Shield again, and Roman Reigns just, they said no direction. It'd be pointless right now. And Roman's on a 700-day championship reign, just no direction, pointless. Who cares? It's absurd. If they wasted so much potential on that, then it doesn't make sense.
Well, that's your Booker of the Year, 2-time Booker of the Year, Tony Khan, for you. Thanks to Uncle Dave Meltzer, who I can't believe has named you Booker of the Year for a second year running.
Dave Meltzer criticized. He criticized the Moxley Hangman Page segment for not having an explanation. You could do that with probably 9 out of 10 AEW stories, but this is one where you didn't need it. They actually played the story out on live TV like 2 or 3 weeks earlier. I mean, anybody who didn't know what's going on between Moxley and Hangman wasn't watching AEW a month prior. I mean, so Dave, it's valid criticism like 100 other times, but this one time, no. I mean, it's strange. It's just weird.
Ding dong.
It's upside down world.
Yeah, well, it's bizarre land in professional wrestling, Jeff. It is what it is. But yeah, Kev, he's been named Booker of the Year for a second year running, dude.
Just give the third already and let's be done with it.
Wow.
Just give him the third. Absolutely, I agree. Fuck it. Why not?
The only
Anyway,
one worse is Billy Corgan, I think, this year. Out of all the
yeah, he's been garbage.
yeah, it's the only worst one.
He's absolutely.
MLW is pretty piss poor.
Is that the
Yes.
roster or the booking, though?
The
Yes.
bit of both. Bit of both. They do have a decent roster per se, but like
They have a roster of 9 people, and they have about 20 appearance talents that come in every now and then. Like John Morrison is going to, be on an arc. I just saw Cross on MLW TV a couple weeks ago. I mean, he's been on WWE TV for, 5 months now?
I know
And-
Enzo's on it.
I want Enzo to make another WWE run, or even AEW. Fuck, whatever the case may be. I just want to see one more run with him because I think he's still got a lot to offer. But anyway, we go back in the ring as Moxley and Claudio look a little confused and take a minute to collect themselves. John says he only knows one thing for sure. The 3 men in this ring live and breathe pro wrestling, and you can call them whatever you want, but at Final Battle, this war with the Jericho Appreciation Society is over. Mox says he's making an open challenge at Rampage and at Final Battle, as Claudio and Wheeler will make their statements. First of all, I don't know why Moxley said he's making an open challenge at Rampage when we already got confirmation that he's facing Takeshita.
Well, that confirmation came later, but we had already one open challenge line with Sabian and Orange Cassidy, so it really made no sense.
Open challenge Fridays, Jeff.
Yeah, but if it was going to be an open challenge, I mean, give us a surprise or make it Hangman. I mean, Takeshita. Okay, this is the mistake he was making before. He thinks this is loading up a show. It's going to probably be a good match, but there's no doubt as to what the end is. Unless the end is BCC imploding and it's before the pay-per-view, so that's probably not the greatest idea. Do it at the pay-per-view, or better yet, do it on a Dynamite when people are watching. I don't know. I mean, Takeshita's good. This is not about him. It's just like there's no story to it, so that's not exciting. That's just another exhibition match.
It's a great pro wrestling match. Damn it, Japanese style.
Is. But he's so angry. It should be somebody he's had a rivalry with. It should be something that matters, not someone he's beaten like 2 or 3 times already.
Yeah, I would like a Takeshita match if it let him work his way up to Moxley, beat Sammy Guevara, beat Daniel Garcia. Work your way up to the main guy. He's going to win this match.
Now, listen, if the BCC they even accidentally cost him the match and Takeshita wins, then I will be pleasantly surprised, just like I was a little bit later on in this show with another match that I thought was going to be a schmoz and wasn't. So maybe they'll surprise me. I leave the door open for that. I like Takeshita. I really do. I thought their matches in the past were good. That to me, that's not loading up a show. I mean, that's not interesting. I've seen it before, and there's no story. So
Exhibition Fridays, that's what it is. You know what's funny, man? Do you think they should, since they have that 10 p.m. slot, right, for Rampage, why not change it from, instead of All Elite Wrestling, why not have All Extreme Wrestling, right? Make it a bit more edgier. Since they love blood and guts, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, it writes itself. I mean, why not have something like that? Anyone?
Have it based around the All Atlantic show, All Atlantic Wednesdays, or something. Like
All Atlantic Wednesdays, AAW.
Yeah, or maybe an international show of all like Japan, all the guys like Tony loves, and
the ratings will dip even lower there.
Can't get any lower. The same 300,000 people are watching it, no matter what. Anyway, at least they can get their niche.
Well, they used to have 700,000 people watching, and that's what they would like to get back to, like 550, 600. I don't think a name change is going to matter. I mean, You could just keep it at Rampage, and how about doing a good show?
Yeah, Rampage, but have it all extreme wrestling. You know what I mean? Just
It's already all
it's 10
extreme.
p.m. I know, but the 10 p.m. time slot would fit perfectly. I mean, they've got the time slot. It's on a Friday night. They can do whatever they want.
What signal from Discovery Warner Brothers have you gotten that they want extreme wrestling on their TV?
Well, I'm sure TK was an extreme marktard for wrestling.
Yeah, he also extremely needs a raise and a contract renewal for all of his shows, including Rampage and maybe even Battle of the Belts. And he seems to be indicating that he's going to be announcing something about Ring of Honor TV come Saturday. I actually think that he's depending on the buy rate to try to make a pitch for a sale. I don't know if he's being pie high in the sky. I don't know if it's going to be on streaming. I don't know if Discovery will give him, $5 million a year to put it on True or IDTV or, some third or fourth level Discovery product or platform, or we'll never hear about it again. But I don't see any signal that from Discovery that they want more wrestling. But I mean, their reaction to Nick Gage, and all of that stuff, and they won't let the Briscoes on TV. And you think they want an Extreme Hour? No, they don't want an Extreme Hour.
I don't think they want an Extreme Hour, but I would love it too, Jamie. Bring in their GCW belt on there, or have Tommy Dreamer bring a hardcore championship on there and have it be a hardcore. I would love it, but it's not going to happen.
No GCW garbage wrestling, and Tommy Dreamer is one of the most amazing stories on how nothing can exist in wrestling for 40 years.
Damn, that's cold, man.
Ooh. It'll be it'd be easy to bring that story in though. If he brings this hardcore belt, his house, because he's got the House of Hardcore show and stuff. But
is that even still a thing, Kev? House of Hardcore?
I doubt it, but I'm sure he still has the belt.
Yeah,
why
why not?
is that guy in catering?
Well, you know what? You can do whatever you want, man. Really, you know what I mean? You can go anywhere you want, but for whatever reason, they just don't want to change it up. But apparently, this is stacked, according to TK. So we'll see. I think it'll be a decent Rampage, at least decent for us to actually review this coming Friday. But nevertheless, at least it's not going to be as fucking shit as usual. But let's move on to the next segment, because we got Shivani doing a sit-down interview with Jamie Hayter, which was filmed earlier. She says the division is getting interesting, but she's on top of the totem pole and she's going to do her job and defend the title. She says whoever wins out of Hikaru Shida and the Bunny on Rampage gets to wrestle her for the title because she's a fighting champion. Jeff, what'd you think of Hayter?
I think I must have fallen asleep during this segment, even though I was watching it. She looked like she was dressed like a librarian. I saw Twitter say that she had a lot of presence on there, but I thought it was boring and just another dig at Thunder Rosa.
Yeah, good point. Is Rosa gone now, guys?
Yes.
Interesting indeed. All right, well, let's move on. We get a matchup between Jade Cargill and the Batteries, and that is Layla Gray and Red Velvet versus Kiera Hogan, Madison Rayne, and Sky Blue. But Cargill and the Baddies win by pinfall with a Jaded from Cargill on Madison Rayne. Jeff, anything to say about this?
No, I mean, there was never really a doubt. I mean, the only thing that there was a question is whether or not Kiera was still a secret baddie, but she wasn't. It wasn't that clean a match. It was a little bit sloppy. The end was really abrupt. Madison Rayne, for a coach, she really doesn't know how to sell. And, I don't know, one move and then she puts in the finisher. I mean, someone must have told them we're out of time, ladies. But it was okay. It's fine. The right team won. It's good to see this is the prime baddie triad. So, they're glad to see them win. I mean, but Sky Blue, Madison Rayne, and Kiera Hogan are there. I just can't. I'll never forget how 2 years ago people were saying that Kiera Hogan is one of the best in the world, and Impact has the greatest women's division in the world. And when she got signed to AEW, like, oh my God, game changer! Their division just became the best in all of wrestling. And 2 years later, this she's still cannon fodder in and she was the fourth wheel in a three-wheel race, and when Mark Sterling was there, she was the fifth wheel.
Oh yeah, Mark Sterling. Kev, anything to say about this?
Just shows how great Jade is, like how much charisma she has. She just looks like do you see Guardians of the Galaxy when Drax says to Thor and Star-Lord that Star-Lord's a dude, Thor is a man? Jade's a woman, and these are girls. It just shows how big of a star she is. And I was actually a big fan of Kiera Hogan in Impact, and it's crazy. She looked like the fifth most charismatic person in this match, too, even under Sky Blue. The money had fallen. I don't know what it is. Her and Tasha Steelz together were very charismatic, and she just lost her ways. I guess she's a baddie, but she's like the fifth. She's just not as bad as Jade and Layla. So I guess she doesn't know what to do. I guess that's her gimmick. She can't play her character, She just seems lost.
Well, before we move on to the main event, we got a special guest, guys. It's Terry Bollea. Wants to say a word or two right here on the Wednesday night skirmish. It's been a while. So let's see what he has to say.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, brother.
Well, I gotta tell you, brother, about AEW. You fucking think MJF is a fucking star, brother. What are you fucking doing on the mission, brother? And I gotta tell you, CM Punk is a bitch, brother. He couldn't hold my yellow joints if he tried, dude. Isn't that right, brother? And then I gotta tell you, Black Machismo. Well, actually, we can be the Black Mega Powers, brother. It's gonna be me and Jay Lethal, the Black Machismo, the Black Mega Powers, brother. And then I got a message to Kevin Nash on his fucking podcast. Like this, brother. Hey, did you forget how to talk, motherfucker? You sound like fucking Helen fucking Keller, dude. But I love you, brother. Finger poke of doom. Haha, we fooled them all. But the WWE, WWF need a Hulkamania, brother. WCW need a Hulkamania. And AEW needs Hulkamania too, brother. So I gotta tell Tony Khan, you bug-eyed fucking freak, give me a call, you son of a bitch.
Damn, Terry. Or Hulk. What's your problem with TK, bro? What did he do to you?
Well, he's a fucking mark, brother. And I gotta tell you, hey, all you gotta do is put $1 million fucking dollars in the Hulkamania. We'll fucking take this company to the next level, like I did all those other companies, brother, including AWA. Ain't that right, Jeff?
He asked you a question, Lippman. Ain't they right, Jeff Lippman?
What you gonna do?
Right, brother.
Damn, he no-sold you, Hulk. I mean, what do you think of Jeff Lippman?
Well, he's a pretty cool guy. If I need a fucking lawyer, I'll fucking call you, Jeff. And I always fucking need a lawyer, dude. So what you gonna do with the fucking PWC? What's wrong with you, brother? And Tony Khan, you bug-eyed motherfucker, give me a call, dude. Terry Bollea is fucking out, dude.
See you, Hulk. Nice having you back on. That was Hogan's Corner right here on the PWC Wednesday Night Skirmish. It's been a long time running. Absolutely. That was a long time coming. I'm just glad he's back.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
I mean, is that... Oh, who's that?
What the hell was that?
Who was that guy?
Is that was
that Terry? Who was that?
I think it was.
Damn, was that?
With the love sponge. Maybe it was Jimmy Hart.
What was it? The Mexican Terry Bolendez. Oh, that don't work for me, brother.
Breaking news.
Breaking news. Anyway, thank you, Hulk. That was good. Hogan's Corner, it's back on the skirmish.
Nice.
Yeah, well, that was a nice little run-in by the Hulkster brother.
Superstar.
That don't work for him. Absolutely. Well, backstage, we get Shivani once again interviewing Saraya. But before any questions can happen, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, ends up rolling up. She congratulates Saraya on the biggest win of her career and promises her it won't happen again. She says Saraya came to AEW and her first match was a pay-per-view match against the biggest star on the show. And she has a plane tickets for January 11 where Saraya can either sit in the front row or she can have a match. But not against Britt in the singles, but in a tag match against her and Jamie Hayter. Jeff, did you like the promo?
To paraphrase the Hulkster, dude, this doesn't work for me.
That don't work for me, brother.
Yeah, this was nothing. The only good part is that, and Jamie Hayter never leaves my side, except right now. So I mean that was the only good
Exactly.
part of it. So now I guess we're going to have another surprise partner coming in 2 weeks on a women's tag match, and that's supposed to be a draw. Okay, I mean, who's the exciting female free agent to bring in, or is it going to be Ruby Soho, or we're going to, still Sheeta with her Regina the Primo wave?
Oh yeah, the Regina Wave, the Wave
Yeah,
Championship.
whatever the fuck that is that they're actually putting on the air. I don't know.
Apparently, she's had her eye on it for a while, Jeff.
Terrific. You know what? I'm glad she got what she wanted. That's great, because she wasn't going to get an AEW title again, and then nor should she. She ain't that interesting. She's a good wrestler, but she's not that interesting. Okay. I mean, Saraya, I don't know. She is not interesting.
It's going to be Thunder Rosa is going to be her partner.
Yeah, great.
Do you think so?
That's about it.
I think so.
I don't know, man. I feel like Thunder Rosa is done and dusted, Kev.
That would be the only satisfactory.
She just got done recording a song. She's got a new song coming out. She's ready to do it.
I mean, Thunder Rosa or like Sasha, Mercedes. I mean, that would be interesting. I mean,
It would
Trinity
be.
wouldn't be I mean, Trinity would be a little interesting, not really, but a little bit.
Well, Trinity was with Jay Cargill hanging out last week at I believe watching an NBA game in Atlanta.
Yeah, I think it was a coincidence, though. But that was cool. Forbidden Door.
Sure.
I don't know. I don't care about this feud. I mean, the sad truth is that Jade Cargill has made the TBS title the most important women's title in the company, and perhaps maybe the second most important title in the company. We've talked about this before. Yep. I don't even feel like the AEW women's title interim, erased or not, feels anywhere near as important. She's got a crowd. She's got the entrance. She looks like the She-Hulk. I mean,
she's got the looks.
Yeah.
I don't even think the tag belt's important anymore.
What, the AEW Tag Team Championships?
Yep.
I think the trios are more over now than the fucking tag belts are, for sure.
You mean the trios are the 6-man? Or do you mean the IWGP? Or do you mean the Ring of Honor? Or do you mean the AAA? Or do you mean the intergender tag team titles?
I should have had the count on the intro going 1, 2, 3.
What belt is Hikaru Shida defending to this weekend?
The what was it again? The Regina the Wave.
That's what I said.
Women's Championship. Yeah, the vagina.
The vagina is mine.
The vaginal the wave.
That's right. It's not just something. Penis here on the PWC.
It's vag.
It's also pussy.
We want some pussy. Anyway. Yeah, well, since they want to fucking bring all sorts of bullshit on the show, I mean, at least, hey, look, it's a first for everything, right? You won't have a promotion that has this many championships. We got the 6-man titles and the trios championships. I don't even know what the difference is. What's the difference? Exactly. All Lippman is doing is what the difference is. But anyway, boys, let's get on to the main event of the evening.
Wait, what about House of Black? House of Black.
Oh, yeah, that's right. House of Black. I forgot about them. I've got to go back a bit, Jeff.
A cool vignette, but I don't know what it means. But
well, there was a House of Black vignette follows where they declare war on anyone that has an issue with them and issue a challenge for next week as we go to a break. But I dare say this, boys, it's the House of Faded Black, in my opinion.
House of Hostages.
House of Hostages and the House of Faded Black. Because they're going to fade to black any week now, boys.
So
surely.
The House of cloudy gray.
Yeah, it's very musky.
All right. Okay. Listen, I can't argue with this. I mean, the vignette was interesting, but it's been a series of interesting vignettes that only one is really interesting. So they're less interesting. But okay. We already know they declared war. They've attacked everyone twice now. I mean, I don't know what the vignette was for. If they're going to make an open challenge, that's great. So we're going to get another open challenge. I mean, I guess if Orange Cassidy loses that title tomorrow, that frees him to be with Chuck T and Trenty Locks as the threesome to feud, and you always got QT and the factory of 900 losers that are there. Or you can always call in Rocky Romero because he's always available for a paycheck as long as he can get a kid's eye patch in a pirate shop or whatever.
Yikes. Kev, anything to say about the House of Faded Black?
I love Malachi. He was my favorite for a while there, and he felt so important for a while, and they just killed it.
You know what? They should give them either. I mean, if Tony wants to invest in them and get me to invest in them, even though Buddy Matthews pretty much said he's leaving in 2 or 3 months, license either Black Sabbath, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, or Rolling Stones Painted Black, and then I'll believe that he's interested in the House of Black.
True. If he goes that far with like Ozzy Osbourne Fade to Black, I mean, shit, it's gonna cost a bit of fucking.
Ozzy Osbourne Fade to Black. I said what I said.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, let's see what happens. I just think they're done and dusted, but we'll see. We move on to the main event. It is FTR, Cash Wheeler, and Dax Harwood versus the Acclaimed in Anthony Bowens and Max Caster for your AEW World Tag Team Championships. The Acclaimed are your champions. And boys, I'll start with you, Jeff. One too many near fucking finishes, dude.
I'm going to surprise you because I was sure this was going to be a schmoz. I was sure the Gun Club
was I. So did I. I was convinced too.
Triple J Lethal was going to get involved. Seen them in the back.
They swerved us.
I was completely convinced that, and they swerved us with basically a clean finish. I thought it was a fun as hell match. I thought they all worked their asses off. I thought they worked well together. I don't care about the fake finishes. I think in this particular match with these two teams, they're supposed to be the best in the world. Between them, they hold 4 World Tag Team Championships. So if anyone's going to be kicking out of everything, it should be them. I thought this match was great, and I was so, maybe even more so, maybe I made it greater in my mind because I got a legitimate end, and I was so sure that I was so smart and I had it all figured out, and I didn't. And I'm so happy when they get me wrong because I'm tired of hearing people saying, no one saw Regal doing that with MJF. Yeah, I mean, I think lots of people saw it. I know I did. I mean, we talked about it. I heard other people talk about it.
We said it weeks before anyone else did, actually, Jeff.
Yeah, it's true. We were before everyone else, but we're not the only ones that So anyway, very happy to have been wrong, I think, twice tonight. So, I mean, great. I thought the match was terrific.
I love the match. I just think one too many near falls. Like, the part where they kicked out of the finisher, I'm talking about where the Acclaimed kicked out of the finisher, I think it was perfect. They didn't need all those near finishes before that, though, to get to that point. You know what I mean? And then we went to the finish. That's just my opinion. But, yeah, great match. Absolutely enjoyed it. Kev?
Jeff was very unhappy to be wrong. I was unhappy that I was right. This is exactly how I knew the match would go, what it was going to be. I didn't hate the match. If FTR was going to lose, there should have been a schmoz ending. The Gas Boys should have came out, or the Briscoes should have went on the screen ahead of time and just distracted them, pulled the WWE style distraction. I'd like you, Jimmy. I thought it was too many moves at the end, too many missed finishes. Like it seemed like they didn't know who they wanted to win. They knew there was like a no-win situation, so it was just like attempt.
See, this match was a no-win situation, really. I feel like as well,
without a schmoz ending, which they should have had.
Right.
Then, but I did laugh at the ending. Ha 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 to all you people at home that said FTR is the #1 team in wrestling. Fuck you, the Usos are, and this just proves that they can't even be the best in their own freaking TV show.
The Usos are definitely #1. There's no fucking arguing that
Tony Khan showed you right here. It's undebatable.
Well, of course they're the #1. They're the Universal Tag Team Champions for
they
the
are the ones,
year.
Guys. The ones.
And they've been fighting champions too. So I mean, meaning they've had lots and lots of matches, and they've been carrying both shows. I mean, basically. Which is not always a great thing, but it's still undeniable, just like Moxley was. It's not always a great thing. It's undeniable. I mean, FTR, they have titles, but they haven't had a particularly good year. I mean, Dax is focusing on a singles career. So Matt Kuhn, tweeting today that Dax Harwood is the best professional in the world and Cash Wheeler might be the second. I mean, first of all, I don't agree, but even if I did, why is everyone with this narrative? This reminds me of like Carl Anderson 5 or 6 years ago, where they were saying how great he was, and I mean, they're not even a good tag team. I mean, I just feel like I've seen this before, and like Dax at 5'8.5" with his he's like 31 years old, but he looks like he's 47. I mean, this is not a star. It doesn't matter how good he is or isn't.
He's a plain Jane, dude, really.
Yeah. So anyway, but you're right. The Acclaim could have been in the conversation. I mean, there were plenty of teams that could be in the conversation, but they're all playing for two. I mean, someone's like, what about the Briscoes? What about them? They've been sitting for 6 months basically doing nothing. They did a little bit of work in Impact, a little bit of work in NWA, and about a year ago they had like their couple matches in Ring of Honor. And then, of course, we have the Gun Club with the Christmas gifts, which was dumb. I don't know why the Gun Club is announcing a match for FTR for the Briscoes in a double dog collar, which, by the way, it's cool. It's probably going to be a hell of a match. It's probably going to be brutal.
Has it ever been done in a tag match? I don't think it has.
I think it's a must. But they had a trilogy. Like, they had 3. They had the rubber match. FTR won. So with FTR losing on TV here, and FTR never being sure when their contract is up, I'm thinking that they're losing these titles on Saturday to the Briscoes. Ring of Honor, whatever form it's going to be on, it probably isn't going to be on a major TV station, and it might be on streaming. So why not give Ring of Honor fans, a bone and make it the Briscoes, who, nothing's more Ring of Honor than the Briscoes. They were there literally since like year one. And FTR, maybe the negotiations aren't going as great. Maybe they may go back to, maybe they're playing hardball, whatever it is. Something with them and Tony
is off.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how big a deal it is or whatever it is. I'm not making any predictions here other than this is not a prediction show for Final Battle, unless you decide it is, but I'm going to predict the Briscoes win those titles. I mean, I think it's for the titles. I don't think it's just a grudge match.
Who knows what it is?
Spoiler alert, FTR is going to New Japan. I'm telling you that right now. Calling it now.
Well, they're already in New Japan-ish.
Sure, they're the champs.
Nobody goes full-time in New Japan if they have choices.
I'm sorry.
Well,
an 8-year-old just battled cancer in North Carolina. He's not moving to Japan.
He didn't have cancer.
He
had a heart problem.
He cries after his wrestling matches.
Right. Whatever it is, he's not going. That's fine. He can still work Japan if he works for Impact or AEW or any number of companies. Just not. Which is it just not AAA?
Well, the thing that gets to me is they don't protect FTR, man, at all. There's no protecting these guys.
They lost to Swerve and My Glory too. They lost the Acclaim now.
They're the so-called champions of defunct friggin' companies, other than the IWGP one and the AAA one, I guess. And they're not the best tag team in the world. Heck, they're not even number one in the PWI top 500, whatever it is, of tag teams. And they're not number one in Tony Khan's eyes either. So something's up, like Jeff said. And I think if they do get the loss again, it's going to make things kind of interesting. We'll see what happens there. But Kev, any other final comments about this match?
No, it was an okay match. Obviously, they're much better workers than the Acclaimed, but the Acclaimed are over, so that makes their matches that much better. It should have been a schmoz ending, like I said. It's a good
just to protect the guys, but no protection at all.
Well, at least for once, it was a good main event that you didn't know who was going to win, and you can't say that often for AEW.
Exactly, and we got a clean.
And we did get a clean finish, even though I think we all knew deep down that the Acclaim was going to get the win. Just we didn't know how.
No, but I thought you were going to get 2 tag teams and 2 extraneous guys, at least, if not 3, run in. Maybe the whole.
So did I. I said it on Don Tony's page. He said this would be the perfect moment for the Briscoes to run in, but I go, right, but the only problem is it's going to be the Ass Boys that do it instead. But we didn't even get that. So
the Briscoes, but he knows this. I mean, he was being sarcastic, but he knows that the Briscoes aren't allowed on Discord.
Right, I know.
Which is a bit weird, since I mean, there's other people who have done equally terrible things, but somebody in that company, Discovery that is, has something about that. And I'm not saying it's the position itself is necessarily wrong, even though it's pretty old, but there are other people in the company more recently have done more similar things. I'm not like talking about like, Mike Tyson, who's, a giant star and only does appearances, and, whatever some rappers might do who are there, come on once or 3 times or whatever. I mean, freaking Jericho's wife was at the insurrection, for God's sake.
Jeez. Well, post-match, FTR, the good sports they are, Scissor the Acclaimed, the Daddy Ass. The Ass Boys appear on the Tron and say they got FTR some presents. They have a card from them boys, the Briscoe brothers, challenging them to a match of Final Battle, a double dog collar match. And that's the show, boys. We've finally done it. And decent show overall. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But there was also some stupid moments as per usual. But Jeff, overall, what would you give it out of 5?
Sheesh. If it wasn't for that battle royal, I go for TV. I go pretty close to a 5. But because of the battle royal and a couple of other things, then I'll go 4 1/4.
Kev?
I go a 2.75. It was one of the better Dynamites in the post-Punk era.
I'll go 4 out of 5. I thought it was a good enough show. Maybe 3.5, actually. I don't want to say 4.
High score? Wow.
Yeah, you got the high score, Jeff, as a matter of fact. There was it was good at the start, good in the middle, good at the end type of thing. Damn. I'm frozen. Anyway, Jeff, tell them where they can find you. Yeah.
Right there on Twitter at EchoSpellMD. You can find me oftentimes on the PWC and the channels we cross-pollinate with, the PW Hustle, Panel Attitude, the Hami Media Group. You can also find me on the Wrestling Soup Network and some other places too. My other wrestling podcasts that don't involve these fellas is Hammerlock Hangover with Big Daddy Cool Steve Pena. We're bi-weekly, and this week we should be doing a recording with predictions for this weekend shows, and then our next show will be end of year show, our report cards, any predictions that we have for the coming year. So that's always a good time. And my non-wrestling podcast, Garden of Doom and Garden Views. Dropped the Garden Views today. Dropped the Garden of Doom over the weekend on the Huns. The Garden Views was on Russian and Soviet space law and the Dark Sky Initiative. And this week on Garden of Doom, it's almost like the Garden of Doom, Garden Views crossover, because I got into a lot of how you become a published author with the literary agent. And so we have our first New York Times best-selling author, actually 2 times best-selling author, in the young adult paranormal category, but New York Times best-selling author, that's the same category as Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and all that other shit. So you learn some stuff, and surprisingly where NDAs aren't used, where the stakes are the highest. Anyway, you can find those all on the PWC, Wrestling Soup Network, PW Hustle. Some of them are on Hameen. You know it, you want it. That's a lot of places to find me. I'm tired.
Not enough though, Jeff. Not enough. Not tight enough. Kev, tell them where they can find you, man.
Hey, my personal stuff's at Panetta Sexytime on all social media. Thursday nights on YouTube, you can follow the Dollar Club Wrestling Show. These 2 goons are with me a lot on there. The last Thursday of this month, we're going to have the Hot 50 Countdown. Find out who the Dollar Queen of 2022 is. And you both are invited on that show, too. I'll get you the exact date. We'll make a big special. We're not going to talk about anything else. Just the hottest 50 women in all wrestling, and Jeff is in the top 50. He's sexy wrestling.
So is that what we're doing tomorrow night on Dollar Club Wrestling? We're doing the top.
Am I recused from being a guest because I can push myself higher up the rankings?
You can vote, yeah. The last Thursday of December, we're going to do that.
Mandy Rose, definitely.
And then next Saturday, you can see me at the Icons of Wrestling show at the ECW Arena. I'm going to be working with the AXW team with Kevin Kelly. I'll be there as Uncle Slam. Hopefully I'll be able to meet the Dudley Boys, Rob Van Dam, a bunch of big names there. Hopefully I get some good stories for our show next week.
What city is that in?
What's up? That's in at the ECW Arena, like a meet and greet.
Philly.
Yeah, in Philly. So I'm going to be working with Kevin Kelly and the AXW, American Excellence Wrestling crew next
Very
week.
cool. Gonna be a big star.
Hopefully.
Absolutely. Kevin fucking big time Panetta. Don't know about Sexytime. It's big time
Uncle
Panetta.
Slam. Uncle Slam.
Uncle Slammer. Just
Do you,
one of these
you guys
fucking
need a backstage or a ringside interview woman?
woman.
Courtney Bensley?
Oh well, if she's not
Alaska?
available, no. I know someone who does that. Who's from New York and it's probably within the travel range. Works for some indies.
Nice.
Interesting. Could be a thing worth looking at, Kev. I mean, if you speak to the other Kev, the boss, Kevin Kelly.
If you're interested, you know how to reach me.
Definitely.
If not, forget the whole thing.
I'm still here on that one, so I got to work my way up to bring.
Well, anywho, if you want to follow me, you can on Twitter at the PWC Network and at DJ Mass Effects. Please like and subscribe right here at the PWCNetwork.popping.com, where you can find all our shows. Channelattitude.com, where for $5 you get to listen to me and whoever, more specifically Rampage. Yeah. Also, HummingMediaGroup.popping.com, where you can find all our affiliate shows, and Dollar Club Wrestling, where you'll find myself and Mr. Lippman tomorrow night at Dollar Club Wrestling on YouTube. Look out for that. In saying that, I'm Jimmy T. That is Evil Diamond. Oh, sorry. Evil, what was it? Damned? Whatever the hell you want to do. It's right now, Dose. And that is Kevin Sexytime Panetta. And you've been listening and watching. Oh, it's El Pussy Grande.
Whoa, what happened? What's going on here?
It's El Pussy fucking Grande. He's back in the house. You should say something about the dollar.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
But does the dollar work for you, brother?
Sí, dollar is life.
Pesos, solamente pesos.
Dollar is life. Peso is life.
Believe in the pesos. We're out.
Peso in the ass cheeks.
Peso in the ass cheeks. Orale. Well, we're out, boys. Stay evil, stay ghetto, and stay grande. We're out till next week. See yous.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.